How's it going, guys? Welcome to part 26 of the GTO Trainer. First hand here, open from the low jack, so middle position. We're in the small blind with A6, 8-6 suited. These are the type of hands you would love to just limp in, call this from the small blind. But I reckon just because we've got the big blind behind, we don't really want to incentivize him to be calling. Maybe a gap is a little bit too wide, considering low jack's still a very tight range, so I'm going to lean towards a fold. I reckon maybe a suited connect. Nah, yes, okay, so not at all. So pretty much, so we got some suited connect. Yeah, so we got all the suited connectors in there at some frequency, so about what's it called, low teens or single digits, raising majority, because you don't really want to allow, or almost make the big blind priced in for a call with pretty much any two cards. So it's either pretty much a 3-bet or a fold there majority of the time, and then we want to be only really doing that with suited connectors and then top of range that we believe plays well against a low jack open. Moving on to the next hand, under the gun +2 opens, folds all the way around to us in the big blind. 9-7 offsuit. If it was 9-7 suited, this would be a call. However, due to the offsuit and the loss of equity as a result, it's going to be a snap fold versus a very strong under the gun +2 open. Low jack opens, we're in the button with some offsuit garbage. It's just going to be a nice snap fold. Nothing really needed to comment on there. Offsuit garbage versus a pretty strong low jack range. Moving on to the next hand, hijack opens, folds all the way up to around to us in the big blind with a nice bit of suited, offsuit garbage. Going to be a snap fold once again. I think maybe, I don't know, versus a hijack, definitely versus if we move to a cutoff or a button, I reckon a lot of the jack suited hands would be involved. I think maybe versus hijack, low jack, I think we're only until about, even worse. I was originally going to say about Jack 5, but we're all the way up here at Jack 8 suited, Jack 9 suited, and then it's Queen 5 against middle position. But once we get around to more the cutoff, button, or small blind, we're looking to really limp in there. Flat with, I'm pretty certain all of our suited jacks, majority, versus all that late position opens, and then I'll open from the small blind as well. But offsuit, you just miss out on so much more equity. So it's just going to be a snap fold. Moving on to the next hand, a very strong under the gun +2 open, folds around to us on the button with pocket 8s. Can go either way. I can see a call here. I can also see a 3-bet. Leaning toward the 3-bet, however, just to get the 2 blinds, guarantee that the 2 blinds will most likely be out. Isolate against the under the gun range, who we believe we have really good implied odds if we do hit our hand. So we're going to raise it up. Utilize our position, playing up against, we get 3-bet, or 4-bet, sorry. Facing the 4-bet, I can still hear a call here. So what we're calling, what's that? 12.5 to win 27. Implied odds could make up for a lot of it, but yeah, I believe at this point we're kind of priced in for a call to try and hit our set. If we hit our set, then we can kind of get all the money in. But when it's on a King 10-6 board, we got no backdoors. King really favors a very tight, strong under the gun +2 range, so we're just going to snap fold here. So pre-flop, so it says more of a call. My concern is that would bring along either at least minimum the big blind, but maybe even the small blind as well. And then we're kind of going 4 ways. Maybe that's even an okay thing, because we're just kind of, the mindset is we're just kind of set mining, but it just decreases our equity so much when we let in 2 other players, especially the big blind, who's going to be very, very wide, because if you think about it, if the small blind comes in, there's $6 in there. Big blind only contributes 1 big blind in order to win 7. So very, very easy call for the big blind there, and the small blind's also incentivized with a lot, even though they will be out of position to 3 things. three people. It will just give them fantastic pot odds for a lot of their hands, so they would be incentivized to complete and flat. Moving on to so yeah, they do a 3-bet, and then they're saying we should be folding. My impression was, yeah, it's about what's it called, 30-70 in favor of folding. That makes sense to me. Very surprising in terms of why 8s is that, but then 9s is a call 100% of the time, then 7s is a call 60% of the time, 6s 100% call, 5s 100% call, and 4s are 100% call. That doesn't make too much sense to me. I would have thought they would all kind of be treated the same. Doesn't really make much sense to me at all. Mostly because, like, if you look at the under the gun +2 range, their 4-bet range, it's not as if they got like that. What they got 1-8, that's it, and then that's the same for pretty much all the others except for a 6. So I don't really know what the reasoning. Like I said in the last episode or the one before, I want to do a series where I go through all of these very confusing GTO range things. Is that, like, why is exactly this? Like, why are we folding 8s more than we're folding 7s, and why are we folding 7s more than we're folding 6s? I would have thought they would kind of all be in the same umbrella, basically, of like, okay, well, we've got fantastic implied odds here if we hit our set, if we successfully mine for a set, and we can win a really, really big pot. So that was the reason behind the call. I can definitely hear the fold. I can definitely hear the flat beforehand. The idea behind not flatting was to try and get both of the blinds out so we can isolate the under the gun, play heads up in position. Whereas I believe if we limped in, especially in real live poker, 100% at least one of them's coming along, but most likely both of them. Mostly because a lot of people misplay the small blind and over limp, over call on a lot of occasions. Moving on to the next hand, we open on the small blind with pocket 8s once again. We get 3-bet by the big blind. Definitely not a raise. I could hear a fold here at some frequency, and then a call here as well. I'm going to lean towards a call. We successfully mine our set, Jack 8-5, so we hit our set. So we're going to check and flow. This does favor the big blind's range. They're going to have far more strong Jack X. Front door flush completes with the 4. They could, big blind could have some 6-7 here potentially. They could have some flushes. They probably would have bet their flushes. They probably would have C-bet their flushes. So I don't think they have a flush. So in terms of sizing here, we can either go like a half pot, very low pot, or we can try to check and induce a bluff. I'm kind of gonna go lean towards the check, try to induce a bluff. Then a one-liner comes out. That's probably the worst card in the deck. Now it's way too thin to go for value, so we're going to check once again, get a check back. They're saying, okay, so on the turn. So the turn they're saying we should have gone for a 1/4 pot. That makes sense to me. I can definitely hear that. My idea was I was trying to induce them into a bluff. And they're saying we should have gone for just a little bit of a block. I don't really think it's either not a blocker bet, but just a little bit of a value bet. But I don't think we're getting called by anything except for a straight or a flush. Like, there's a one-liner out there. There's a flush out there. I don't see any purpose on betting in this situation, because the only things that are going to call us is a straight, a flush, and that is it. A jack's not going to call us. 2 pair is not going to call us. Doesn't matter what, none of that is going to call us at all. So I don't really see the bet there at all, pretty much. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me, personally. I reckon that should be just a check. Probably even not even bluff catch, just kind of check and fold. Just honestly not worth it in that situation. Definitely should have bet the turn. That's on me. And as rightly they pointed out, it was a bad decision. Moving on to the next hand. Open from the cutoff. We got some beautiful offsuit garbage, so we can just snap fold that without thinking too much. Cutoff, second widest range opening, second to the button. Once again, another open from the cutoff. Once again, we got some beautiful offsuit garbage. Don't need to think about it. Don't really need to break it down. Pretty simple poker. Under the gun open, we've got Queen Jack offsuit, going to be a standard fold, playing out of position versus an under the gun range that has us completely dominated in a lot of situations. Queen Jack's one of those hands where we're going to get into more trouble than not. It's one of those where it feels like a premium, it feels like it's strong, it feels like we should feel really good about it, it feels like we should feel confident when we have a top pair, etc, etc. However, that's probably the curse of the hand, in all honesty, because you get attached to it, you start to think, oh, I've got this premium hand, I should feel really good about it, but then in reality, they have so much ace-jack, ace-queen, king-queen, king-jack, even Queen Jack suited still has more equity than you. And you can, especially out of position as well, you're going to be in a lot of situations where you're going to have to fold to a lot of aggression. They're going to be acting behind, so it's just a terrible hand to play, especially up against a very tight, strong under the gun range, as you can see reflected in this small blind calling strategy graph. Moving on to the next hand, offsuit garbage to finish it off, nice and simple. So, 10 hands, 15 moves, 91% GTO score. I think that's our first 90% in a long, long time. Only missing out on not going for very thin value, very, very thin value. The pocket eights on the river was our main wrong move. We did have a correct move in terms of not going for value on the turn as we should have. And then the other correct moves being should have flatted pre-flop instead of the raise. The idea of the raise was to try to get the blinds out of there. I believe the idea is they're saying you should just call, keep the under the gun. What's it called? Avoid bloating up the pot with and overplaying a hand, I guess, maybe. But that doesn't make overall sense to me. And then yeah, standard fold on the flop, and they're also saying we should have folded to the 4-bet as well, which I can definitely hear, but I also see a lot of what's it called? Implied odds making up for the clear equity, well, the range advantage for them and the equity deficient or deficit that we have, and then just a standard fold on the flop when it comes king high facing an under the gun range. Just absolutely slams that, and we're not really going to be able to hold on. So I hope you guys learned something today. Enjoy the rest of your day, and of course, play well.